Welcome, my dear followers. I welcome you all. Today I will be talking about a hotly anticipated topic, the Leveson Inquiry, in case you didn't figure that out from the title of this video. What was the Leveson Inquiry? It was a public, judge-led inquiry set up by Prime Minister David Cameron to examine the culture, practice and ethics of the press. It was established in the wake of the phone hacking scandal at the now defunct News of the World tabloid. The News of the World was a national newspaper published in the United Kingdom from 1843 to 2011. It was at one time the biggest selling English language newspaper in the world. At the time of closure, Rupert Murdoch was the owner of the newspaper, which he had bought in 1969. The reason for the inquiry was sparked by allegations that the News of the World was hacking people's phones in 2006. It was thought that they only hacked into celebrities' phones, but in July 2011, it was established that they not only hacked into celebrities' phones, but also into ordinary people's phones too, such as soldiers or survivors of the London bombings. However, the whole inquiry arose when it was found that Millie Dowler's phone was hacked by the News of the World. Millie Dowler was a 13-year-old girl who was abducted and murdered in 2002. In the wake of Millie Dowler's phone hacking evidence, Mr. Cameron decided to carry out a public inquiry under the Inquiries Act 2005 due to public concerns. He appointed Lord Justice Leveson on the 13th of July 2011 as the chair of the inquiry. Now, who is Lord Justice Leveson? After graduating from Merton College at Oxford University, Sir Brian Henry Leveson was called to the bar in Middle Temple in 1970, and in 1986 he became Queen's Counsel on the recommendation of the Lord Chancellor. Due to the fact that he was a QC now, he was also offered to become a Masters of the Bench in 1995, which he accepted. In 2000 he became a High Court Judge, Queen's Bench Division, and served as a presiding judge of the Northern Circuit between 2002 and 2005. He became a Lord Justice of Appeal in October 2006. Lastly, since October 2013, he has become the President of the Queen's Bench Division. You might ask me, well Kez, you delineated everything so beautifully and elegantly, but how does the inquiry work? The inquiry is divided into two parts. The first part looks at the culture, practices and ethics of the press. This part was further divided into 4 modules. The first was to examine relationships between the press and the public, including phone hacking and other potentially illegal behavior. The second module related to relationships between the press and the police, and whether such relationships operated in the public interest. The third module under the first part was to examine the relationships between the press and politicians. And lastly, the fourth module, bear with me, this is the long part, considered whether recommendations should be made regarding the future conduct of the press and a system of regulation which would support the integrity and freedom of the press whilst encouraging the highest ethical standards. That was a mouthful. The evidence started on the 24th of November 2011 and formally ended on the 24th of July 2012, by which time evidence had been taken from some 337 witnesses in person or by written submissions from 300 individuals or organizations. Part 2 of the inquiry is designed to look into unlawful or improper conduct at News International and possibly police misbehavior in relation to corrupt payments and to consider generally the issue of corporate governance at News International. However, this part can only be started after all the criminal proceedings have finished. In other words, part 1 of the inquiry. Who are some of the witnesses? David Cameron, our Prime Minister, was one of the witnesses to the inquiry. After every text message he sent to Rebecca Brooks, he used to write LOL, thinking it means lots of love instead of laughing out loud. I'm really concerned about the people who run this country. Another prominent figure who came forward to give evidence was Hugh Grant. He claimed that Mail on Sunday obtained information about his and his then-girlfriend Jemima Khan through voicemails and published an article on it. The editor-in-chief of Associated Newspapers, Mr. Dacre, denied that there was any phone hacking in Mr. Grant's case. Lord Justice Leveson put forward a few recommendations for the Prime Minister to consider. I will go through a couple of his recommendations. He believed that there should be a new independent regulatory body for the press. one which should have no serving editor or member of the House of Commons or government on the board, but it should have people with experience in the industry. He also stated this body should be recognized in legislation. The Prime Minister agreed that there should be a new body, but he didn't find it necessary to be recognized in legislation. Secondly, with a view to protecting journalists, Lord Justice Leveson also recommended a hotline for those who felt that they were being asked to do things that are contrary to the code. Let's talk about some money. The final cost of the inquiry stands at £5,442,400, which is a lot, keeping in mind the financial difficulties in today's society. This was the cost of part 1 though. The second part still needs to take effect, which is going to cost even more. I really hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something. Remember, be safe on the internet. As us Dutch people would say, tot ziens.